All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Nerds Who Drink. I'm Steve.
Mark.
And guys, this was my week to pick a beer. So before we get into the beer real quick, Mark and I took a bit of a hiatus, and by hiatus, I mean one episode for you guys, but it was a month for us. So we got a lot of stuff to cover. Not going to be a huge episode tonight. We kind of wanted to get into a little bit of a rabbit hole and talk sort of about kind of nonsense, catch you guys up on our lives, and go from there. So without further ado, our beer of the week, or I guess seltzer of the week for this, is the Double Punch by Two Robbers, which is based in Philadelphia. So let's give her a little crack. This is the Black Cherry Double Punch. It's so good. It smells delicious. And per the contract that I have yet to sign. Oh yeah, we're getting there. So know what you're thinking. Well, Steve, usually you have some fun and fancy Corksicle. Where is that today? Oh, it's here. Because it's fucking Groot.
New one or one you've had?
I've had it, but I've never drank out of it before because, I mean, the lid does come off, but, like, when you pull the, like, silicone sleeve off, the whole thing comes out, so whatever. Okay, immediate tasting notes. Like, heavy hit of, obviously, that black cherry flavor. I think it's pretty good. My only downside to this, and this as somebody who's, like, semi-health conscious, I'll say semi-health conscious. Sometimes I eat like a 14-year-old at a gas station on a road trip, but like it's 175 calories for a seltzer, man. That's pretty heavy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not a big seltzer guy. Like, I like the taste. I really enjoy the taste.
Yeah, I mean it's not bad. I'm not a big seltzer person either. I just thought like, sticking with our theme of local stuff. And it was a Giant when I was buying my build your own 6-pack, so I was like, whatever, I'll do it. It's not bad. I like it. I mean, like I would probably only drink one of these, but I see why people like it.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, if you're a seltzer drinker, yeah, it's probably very delicious to you. For me, I'm just...
Oh, yeah.
The fizziness.
It's a lot. It definitely is.
I
But
don't know what the word
you know what?
Carbonation? Is that what it would be?
Yeah, carbonation. Fizziness, I mean, that's just the layman's term for it. So, all right, Mark, I guess we'll start with you. Give me like 3 new things that have happened since the last time we had an episode.
Number one, I just took a long weekend trip up to Boston. Well, Plymouth, but Boston. Did some pretty cool stuff there. We went to Fenway. It was kind of an anniversary gift. Tomorrow, we are going to Hamilton. Sunday. We're going to Hamilton and Philly.
Nice.
And then might be it as far as news.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, I know you mentioned your anniversary, so we'll loop that in as your third. So happy anniversary. For those of you that don't know, so for those of you that don't know, I married Mark, not in the sense that you're thinking. I was the officiant at his wedding. So that was a pretty cool experience as someone who's been friends with Mark for well over a decade. So I was honored to have been chosen for that. And so that's pretty cool. So you know what? I'm rocking 1 for 1. You guys are still together, so I got 100% success rate, and we'll keep on trucking.
So if you need anybody to perform your ceremony for your wedding, reach out to Steve at the Nerds Who Drink.
I will do it for a small fee, and if everyone at your tables could just have a QR code for our podcast, that would be A-okay. So I also had an anniversary. My anniversary is a few days after Mark's, which is super cool that we're that close together, which allows us to sort of get that social media blackout that you guys have noticed for the past couple weeks. We got away, just closed on a place down in Florida, so I spent a lot of time down there recently. I ran the 10K down in Disney for the Wine and Dine weekend, which was awesome. Such a fun time. Dressed as Hercules again to reprise my role from 2020 when I did the half marathon down there. Other than that, as you can see behind us, we have the official Nerds Who Drink bar stuff going on. I finally got the basement 98% finished.
I was about to say, can we talk about your background right now?
Yeah, it's got a lot going on.
I have not really seen it pretty much since we knocked that wall down.
Yeah, it's up. We're up now. It's so we got some interesting little pieces here. Most of them from Trader Sam's down in Disney World and or Disneyland, depending on which place the mugs came from. So we've got the Nautilus, Madame Leota, the Piranha. We got some Oga's Cantina here. We got a Stein from Germany and Epcot, a plastic Stein from Germany and Epcot, and the hockey buzzer that goes off anytime the Flyers score. So it's a kind of a cool thing, you know, this little man cave style basement thing that we got going on down here. But once we have the whole thing sort of like cleaned up, wrapped up, and good to go, Mark and I are going to start recording down here like we did 2 years ago, I guess, at this point, when we started our little YouTube channel and then really kind of started this journey down the like seeing our face-to-face type stuff. So I'm very excited for that. We're excited to bring you guys some new and awesome content. And, you know, as always, please give us all your likes, shares, and follows. But this episode, like I said, is going to be kind of a rabbit hole. So Mark and I didn't really want to have like a specific topic to talk about. So we're just going to kind of shoot from the hip.
I just remembered my third thing. I also went to Washington, D.C.
Oh, dope. Fuck yeah. So there's your third thing.
That
But yeah,
Fenway was
so
awesome, though. You don't.
oh hell yeah.
The thing is, Fenway, like in every movie it's in, it's played out as like this big, like they make it feel really big. Dude, it is such a small stadium.
Really?
Yeah,
Smaller than like Citizens Bank?
it's the smallest stadium in the MLB.
Really?
Yeah, but the thing is, they have that green monster out in what's that, right field or whatever. Got the green monster, so that's like their notorious thing. But dude, you learn some cool stuff there. Like number one, they have their own garden.
Like where they grow their food?
Yeah. So like any produce you buy like in the stadium, and they actually, I think she said they supply some of the local like people too. But that part I'm not sure. But they definitely use like all their own stuff pretty much
Awesome.
for like their concessions. Then there's a bar in the basement that has like this big window that's at field level. So like, you could just go to that bar and like watch the game.
That's awesome.
I think it's called Basement Bar.
Okay.
The best thing I learned though was out in left field. There was one seat that they left red when they did the remodel. Like they left the original red seat there. And it's because it marks the furthest home run ever hit in Fenway. It's 502 feet. And apparently it was in the second game of a doubleheader. And this dude had tickets to both games. So he sat out there in the sun through the whole first game, was fine. He ended up pulling his hat down over his eyes to fall asleep. And he fell asleep during the second game, and the home run hit him straight in the face and knocked him out.
I mean, that's an awesome story. I would be lucky to be that guy. Like, that's so cool.
Dude, so literally that seat is pretty much like, here's your safe zone. You're not in the splash zone anymore.
Yeah, 500. Jesus Christ, that's a hell of a hit.
Yeah, but Manny Ramirez almost did it in the playoffs the one year, I think it was. He hit 501.
Okay. So
it was pretty cool.
Where did you want to start your rabbit hole?
What do you think was now not like the character wise, but actually being a Sith? Who was the better Sith, Maul or Vader?
Vader is a better Sith.
You think?
And I'm gonna say Vader's a better Sith because he was more successful at like every Sith has like the plan of like dominance. Until the Force Unleashed, Vader never had an apprentice that overthrew him. Maul got chopped in half by an old man. And I'm not saying old man as in like he was incapable, but like Obi-Wan was just old.
But I'm counting everything. I'm counting Rebels, I'm counting Clone Wars, I'm counting
Honest. So Darth Vader's now when you say a better Sith, are you talking more powerful? Or are you talking like better written, better scripting, better there's so much to it. Like I love Darth Maul. Like Darth Maul may very well be one of my favorite
characters. Judging a Sith just strictly on being a Sith. Oh. Who would you say was better, Maul or Vader?
So I would argue to say Vader's doesn't really fit the like Sith description in that regard. Then Darth Vader is just dark. He's just fucking bad. He's a bad dude. Powerful, driven strictly by emotion. Like Maul was tactical. Vader spent the decent beginning part of his dark descent with just hate and resent and murder.
Story. I love the fact that they're now introducing, which really, really, really fucks up Vader's character, is they now introduce force healing as a thing.
Yeah.
So, like,
Or like surviving a lightsaber stabbing.
yeah, well, I'm just talking about the healing, because think about it, like, that was the whole thing was to save Padme. He needed to heal her. That's what made him turn. Well, if the Jedi were just like, hey, here's how you force heal, he never turns.
I know. Dude, the same thing can be said for like Qui-Gon Jinn. Why did he have to die like that?
I think Qui-Gon, honestly, I think he's like a Mace Windu. Like, he's Mace Windu-esque.
Sure. I could see it.
Like,
He
Qui-Gon,
got stabbed.
yes, he got stabbed. But I'm saying, though, Qui-Gon, though, like, because I know Mace Windu definitely had some training in the dark side, I believe.
Oh, absolutely. So that's
Well,
why
I
his
forget if
lightsaber's
Qui-Gon did.
like canonically why his lightsaber's purple is because he understands. It's like having the understanding of how to do it, but not necessarily utilizing it for that purpose. Also, he's just a bad motherfucker, and that's why it's purple. But like the technical, like they wrote it into canon that purple is you like dabble in the dark arts a little bit, you get it. You're not going out murdering people. I would argue to say that if Mace Windu survived, he would be able to use Force Lightning for good.
Probably.
For good.
I think
like,
he could.
But I mean, again, that's one of those things where it's like, I wish we could get a what if series of Star Wars.
Actually, I've been seeing the one meme, and it's like, what if the Skywalkers all turned? So, like, what if?
Awesome.
So, like, what if Padme survived? Anakin ends up beating Obi-Wan, and then Luke and Leia are born into the Sith code.
Would have been amazing because everyone except for Padme is Force sensitive.
Never know. I mean, Leia is apparently Force sensitive after 9 movies.
Yeah, don't even get me started on that. Like, no one knew. No one. All the detection in the fucking world, no one knew.
Like, I think there was like one training scene where she's with Luke, but like that's it. Like they're just like, okay, we're just not gonna do it that way.
And that's fine, but like, god damn it, you waited until she was dead to give her the fucking scene where she uses the Force. Like, come on, man.
That always blew my mind. Was that literally like, and no disrespect to any of them, but how is she like technically the? How do I? She's the only one that's not with us anymore, but her character lasted the longest.
Mm-hmm.
Like Han Solo went out. Harrison Ford's still around. I know he said he was done with it and all that.
Yeah.
But then Mark Hamill in the 8th movie, he's still around. And then she goes in the 9th. But it's like, I don't know. I love Carrie Fisher, but
I do too. Yeah. No, I think it was a weird way to let it go. Again, to each their own. I still don't even recognize the last 3 movies as real, but whatever. I guess to jump off of that, since we're talking about shit that's just fucking wildly insane, how about Agatha? You watched the season finale?
I did. I actually started Penguin too.
What was with the season finale? So like, we got a comic, another second comic accurate Wiccan.
I was gonna say which episode because it was a 2-part finale.
The second part. So like again, you find out that the Witch's Road was just created by him, but like,
which is super badass, by the way.
Oh no, it is because again,
he's very predictable.
Yes, and so like again, it's one of those things where like
it's one of those things you don't notice until you notice, and then once you notice, you can't unnotice.
Oh, absolutely.
Like watching The Prestige, like once you spoilers. Well, no, I won't spoil it. Once you know,
you. If you haven't seen The Prestige yet, fuck you.
Like if you
stop spoiling shit.
Yeah, like if you don't know Bored in Secret, it's a great movie. But like once you know it, it kind of pulls out that mystique.
Sure. It's just one of those things that like it shows so much about who Agatha is as a person, that she's such a shitty human, like shitty witch or human being, that like she's straight lying to these fucking people
Just to kill them.
to kill them. She's like, yeah, I've been to the Witch's Road before, knowing damn well this shit doesn't exist. And then she's fucking surprised when it does. And it's like, what the fuck? So, and then the last episode, she's what, a fucking Force ghost now? Like, what is this?
So there actually is a comic run where I believe she helps Wanda though, but her and
And
Wanda
that's fine.
on where she is actually like a ghost.
It's just one of those like weird, I don't know. I wasn't a huge. I liked the whole series. The whole series was great. Fight scenes were awesome. Love Aubrey Plaza. We talked about that. I love Catherine Hahn. That I don't even know the dude who played Wiccan, but he's a solid actor. Like I liked him. You know, there's a lot of like really cool nuanced stuff in there. Like in his cable knit sweater, there was like sewn in runes from Wanda's.
I just can't get over the crown.
The blue crown.
Yeah.
So I don't. It's not that's not comic accurate. It's supposed to be a red, like or a blue, whatever. Fucking.
No, it's a red bandana, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So like, yeah, that's not it. I would have been cool if it was the Scarlet Crown.
Yeah, but he doesn't use chaos magic though.
No, I know, but just to stick with the red around the head, like that was his thing. But I thought the comic or the costume was fucking cool. Like his final costume when he came like floating down into Westview, that was dope. That was a cool little entrance. Yeah, it was an interesting like. I love the flashback scenes that like show outside of the road when they're like, oh, like I've run into this person before, I've seen this before, I've done this before, and you're like, holy shit, like, wow.
You find out her son like wrote the song.
Yeah, you find it, yeah. And she didn't kill her son, which like everyone thinks she did, and they all hate her because of that. They're like, oh, she's a shitty human being because she murdered her son. She didn't murder her son. Her son was gonna die.
Here's my biggest like gripe with the show. Number one, I get not doing post-credit scenes after everything.
That fucked me up too.
But the fact that you don't even like, you make so many comments about like her giving up her kid for the Darkhold, and then you find out she didn't. She get the fucking Darkhold. That's all I want to know. But they won't tell me.
I don't know. That's a damn good question. Also, really, really disappointed the fact they didn't introduce Mephisto.
They just like hinted at it, and I know
they name dropped it. They didn't hint shit. They were like Mephisto.
No, I know, but I'm saying that I think the Mephisto was a red herring.
Fuck was a Scooby Doo Junior and red herring. Fuck that shit.
Well, because I think it was they drop his name because they know everybody wants it.
Yes, we do.
And I know that what's his name, Cohen, the actor that everybody says is gonna play him. He was Borat.
Oh, Sacha Baron Cohen.
Sacha Baron Cohen. Like, I know that everybody says like he's gonna play Mephisto, but I think they dropped Mephisto's name, knowing that we know all this information, to pull us away from figuring out that Aubrey Plaza was actually Lady Death.
I loved that reveal. Loved her costume.
Dude, the fact that like in some parts, like the actual skull part is a prosthetic.
Anytime there was actual light,
that's wild.
Dude, it was awesome. Yeah, I really liked the series. Again, I thought the end was a little weird, but
I'd say overall 8.5 out of 10.
Oh yeah, I gave it an 8,
maybe even a 9.
But it was a good series. I liked it. The rewatchability is there because I have to just to kind of process shit. Deadpool and Wolverine's now out on Disney Plus, so that's exciting.
Yeah, I still got to rewatch it.
I'm probably gonna rewatch it again for like the 4th time, but here we are.
Dude, it's such a good movie.
It is. And so Mark and I had talked briefly before we started recording when I was dropping alcohol off at his house. So you're going to be listening to this tomorrow, more than likely. And tonight is Friday the 15th, which means Mike Tyson's going to be fighting a 27-year-old YouTube star. Things that I, like, on my bingo card never would have fucking came out of my mouth for this year. But here we are in mid-November, and Mike Tyson's going to be fighting a child. So I know what Mark thinks, but I want you guys to know what Mark thinks. So give me your predictions for the fight.
1 second. I just want to look up the actual, like, tail of the tape.
That's fair. You know what? I will too. So we're gonna look that up.
Because I know it was wild, but I did not get a chance to actually watch the weigh-in.
Oh, the weigh-in was fucking insane.
Only thing
So
I saw
Jake,
was Tyson slapped the shit out of him.
so Jake Paul stepped on Mike Tyson's foot. Like he did this weird like bear crawl thing across the fucking stage, and like kind of got up in his face, and you see him like jet his left foot out and step on Tyson's toes. And this is why, like, and listen, Jake Paul very well could win this fight. It could be, we're talking the staging of this is just what fighting is anymore. And I know boxing, there's the stories of it being corrupt, et cetera, et cetera. But Mike Tyson hit Jake Paul in the face with a slap so fast that it took Jake Paul a whole fucking second to realize what happened. And Tyson was already fists up, ready to punch him in the mouth. I don't think he, I don't think he's ready for what he's getting himself into.
So here's my opinion. Jake Paul's gonna win. Well,
Okay.
here's the thing. It's a lose-lose situation. Now, mind you, I do not watch boxing, so take my word with a grain of salt. However, Mike Tyson is 57 years old. I don't know what kind of fighting shape he's still in. I also, do you know how many rounds? Is it 12 rounds?
That's a good question.
Either way, I don't think he has the gas tank anymore. Like I'm not even gonna question his fucking power. I know that's still there. It's a lose-lose situation. So Mike Tyson wins, Jake Paul loses credibility. Or maybe he gains it because it's fucking Tyson. Like, okay. Flip side of the coin, Paul wins. I really think, and say he wins by like knockout. Do you really think that people at that point are gonna be like, all right, this shit's scripted and just like lose complete interest?
So here's the thing: he's an entertainer, just like his brother. I think at the end of the day, they're sadly, and I say sadly because I'm not a huge fan of either one of them. They've both become like pricks ever since they got famous.
See, I kind of like
So
Logan and Paul in the WWE.
I feel like they're both assholes because they're rich.
Oh,
Like
they are.
you see the videos from like back when they first started, it was like funny. They were doing stupid shit. Like cool. Now that they've got money and they're famous, they're just dickheads, and that's my personal opinion. Whatever. Take it with a grain of salt. I also don't know like a ton about boxing when it comes to professional fighting, but I'm just gonna read a couple stats. And again, we're gonna take age out of it because hoping that Tyson conditioned himself properly for this, and he should be okay. Tyson record 50-6 with 44 knockouts. That means only 6 of his fights that he won were not by knockout.
Absolutely think either way he's gonna fuck Jake Paul up. I just
Jake
don't know if
Paul
he has
has.
the gas tank because all Jake Paul has to do is keep his distance for a little bit.
Here's the
Mike
thing. I think
drunk.
Tyson, all he needs to do is land one hit. If he hits him properly, because again, boxing is very much it's going to be a muscle memory type thing, just like lifting, just like wrestling. Anything where you're that conditioned for that long. Yeah, he's going to have to break the rust off. But you look at a picture from 2001 versus now. Tyson was fat. He was out of shape. Tyson's an absolute animal right now. I'll show you a.
He's been an absolute animal.
But I'm saying currently, this dude is built like a brick shit house. For 58, 57, 58 years old, if you gave me $30 million and 2 years to train, I would not hold a candle to Mike Tyson. He would punch me so hard in the mouth, I would feel like I'd go back in time to The Hangover.
Yeah,
Like that's exactly what I'd die.
am 99.9% sure that even if I was somehow next to Tyson on his deathbed, I would be out of arm's reach.
Oh, absolutely. If he's like Conor McGregor, like if he gets the good hit, it's over. If he hits you with the good uppercut, the hook, the punch to the night button, it's over. Again, you're absolutely right. He might get outgassed. And if that's the kind of fight that Paul's going to pull, you lose credibility that way too.
And that's what I mean. Like,
It's not Rocky where you're throwing, Rocky and Clubber Lang, or, Apollo Creed, and they're just like slinging heavy hit punches the entire 12 rounds and they're both just dead at the end. If you're chasing a 27-year-old around the ring, like all Tyson needs to do is just stand still. Let him come to you. Just wait. Kill him. Just wait.
Kill him.
I'm sorry, like I want blood.
Yeah, we promote violence.
Here, nerds who drink, we want blood, death, destruction. But no, honestly, like I think if it's not scripted, Tyson's gonna kill him.
Oh, absolutely. If it's not, because I know there's like
And I
special
personally,
rules too, and I don't know what any of them
there
are.
are special rules. The gloves aren't 10 ounce; they're 14 ounce. There's a couple other like big things that I haven't really done a ton of research on it because again, it's like I'm kind of gonna watch it for entertainment value and nothing else. But flip side, like if I was Mike Tyson and I'm worth millions of dollars, and I don't care about the money. I'm not doing it for the money. And if Jake Paul was like, "Oh, I'll pay you $10 million to throw the fight," I'd be like, "Yeah, sure." And then punch him as hard as I could in the face and get my $10 million worth.
To the face.
I would just keep like 8-piece chicken McNugget to his dome.
I saw Tyson's only making like 20 mil on the fight. Jake Paul's making like 40.
Oh yeah, this is all about Jake Paul. The entire thing was set up by him. Again, like I said, for Tyson, at this, like, you're rich, you're good. You die today, you died a rich and happy man.
Right.
Tyson was a fucking tiger. Tyson has a Scooby-Doo style TV series made about him. It's animated. Like, blows my fucking mind. The dude is like fucking Snoop Dogg in regards to side quests.
Dude, and he's like the baddest man on the planet, I would say, but he's a goober.
Absolutely. If they could clone Mike Tyson and make him 27 years old for this fight, I would fly to wherever they are and pay to see that. I would pay to see this YouTuber get his face caved in. Orbital sockets just dust. I would pay that. I would pay. Netflix, fuck you. I'm paying to see it.
If I could let them use the 8-ounce gloves like the UFC fighters use, do they use 8 or 6?
I think it's 8. I want to say 8, but I could be wrong. But I know that boxers, I think, usually use 10. This is again from like what I've talking to other people that like watch fighting more than I do. They usually use 10, but I think that they said they're going to be doing
like 14, so that Jake Paul doesn't get killed every time he gets punched by Tyson.
But even that being said, I'm sorry, like I know it's only 4 ounces, right? But like, if I throw a 4 ounce just like solid weight at you, it's gonna hurt. And the power that this man is generating with his body, it's gonna be a freight train. And an extra 4 ounces is gonna turn into a couple pounds. Just, I mean, I saw.
I want
Don't
Tyson
that
to win. I want Tyson to win.
Oh, I want Tyson to win too. And here's,
Tyson winning.
am I saying Jake Paul can't fight? No, absolutely, he can fight. My only issue is like, you built a name in fighting off of like washed up UFC fighters and no name boxers and YouTube stars.
Did you ever
So like,
watch WWE or like WWF?
yeah,
Do you remember the legend killer Randy Orton?
yeah.
That run? That's Jake Paul with boxing. He's doing Randy Orton's legend killer. He's literally just picking like old guys and just being like, "I'll fight you."
Or like, hey, I know you're a UFC fighter, but like, come fight me in a boxing ring in an area that you're just uncomfortable with. Like, go fight Conor McGregor in an octagon.
Nate Diaz in an octagon.
Hell yeah! Didn't he beat Nate Diaz in a boxing ring?
Diaz is a BJJ guy.
Yeah, dude, like,
Nate,
the grappling.
his brother, I think, is like one of the best like tactical like strikers in the UFC history. But he
Like,
was a grappler. I mean, don't get me
Floyd
wrong, he could
Mayweather.
fight. But he was more of like the Oafy kind of, I'm going to let you just punch me in the face until I can just get my hands on you, and then I'm just going to take you down and do my thing. Nick Diaz would just start swinging on you.
I personally, again, like, I think if you're going to fight a guy like that, fight him, maybe not necessarily in his prime. If you want to play that game, like, you're in your prime at 27. Billions of dollars into fucking training and shit, and all these sponsors, and everyone wants to be in your corner, and you've got strength and conditioning and nutrition and this and that, and like, if you still can't win this fight, dude, what's all the money for?
Big as shit too. Like
You did. He really did. But also, like, millions upon millions of dollars in food and training. And, like, it's not like he's got, like, you and I got to go to work Monday morning. You don't got to do that. So, yeah, like, if I didn't have to wake up Monday morning except to go to the gym and to work out, and, like, I basically just had a dude who came into my fucking house and was like, get up. We're going to the gym right now, and, like, drug me out of bed. Yeah, okay, I'd probably be in the best shape of my life. Look at
Yeah.
fucking Chris Pratt. Speaking of best shape of my life, did you see recently that John Krasinski was like voted sexiest man alive?
Yes, I did.
Which is, I'm not saying he's not. He's a very attractive man, but that was a shocker to me. I was like, okay, people are finally seeing Jim Halpert for what he truly is. He's a good dude.
He's aging backwards.
He really he looks great for his age, but so many people in Hollywood anymore. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where's the good genetics for me? Like, why wasn't I blessed? Fucking
It's the
pricks.
millions of dollars that they put into all the fucking diets and vitamins and
And the blood of the fucking children. What? Definitely not that. Tom Cruise.
going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, we're going down that rabbit hole. Let's talk Scientology real quick, boys.
I think South Park gives you the best representation of Scientology. If you
Yeah,
guys
South
hear
Park's
barking in the background, I'm sorry. My dogs are going ape shit right now.
it's all good. We know you're human. You got dogs.
My puppy's just a bitch.
Nah, she's a sweetheart. She loves me.
She loves
But
everybody, but when she's unsupervised, oh, she's a fucking terror.
that's fair. I feel like that's how my dogs were. They were a little rough. The second I left the house, they were like, "Oh, let's fuck this place up." I'm like, "All right, cool, man, thanks." Then we didn't just walk out the door and you're already pissing and shitting on the carpet. Wonderful.
Dude, they were
Yeah,
fucking bowling balls too.
yeah, they were huge. They were my babies. I miss them. But back into our rabbit hole. All right, let's take the. Where's your next leap to? Quantum leap this shit.
Let's see. I almost want to go sports. Actually,
All right, hit me.
ready?
Hit me.
Funny story. So last week when now I'm not gonna get into fantasy, but last week when Jamar Chase put up 55 points in our league,
I was so sad.
and Eddie sent that GIF in the group chat, that escalated quickly from Anchorman. Danielle literally was like, "Oh, you guys would talk more shit on each other," and she's like, "It's because it was a free league, isn't it?" I'm like, honestly, probably. I'm like, you see weeks where people just don't even change their lineup because they know they're boned with everybody being on buys at the same time. Like, nobody's
It's
taking
tough.
this seriously. Not
So
not
here's the
taking it
thing,
seriously, but
and that's part of it.
it'd be
Like
a lot
I have
more aggressive if it
oh
was
yeah,
like
we have
or anything. It would be a lot more aggressive, I feel, with our group.
oh yeah. Well, I talked to Eddie like offline about it because he came over the night that you guys were in Boston for the Eagles game.
Yeah.
And dude, it was so he was here, John was here, Pete was here, and yeah, I was like, dude, I don't even like. He's like, I'm gonna double your fucking score. I was like, yeah, I know, thanks. It's not my fault. Jamar Chase went off and scored 50 points. Like Jesus Christ.
Well, to be fair, you did it to me the week before with Garrett
Well,
Wilson.
yeah, that is true.
He had
I wasn't.
1.4 points at halftime. 1.4 points. He ended with like 32.
I know. I got Saquon Barkley, who, believe it or not, so I had him 1-1 in my dynasty league. I got made fun of for it.
Actually,
Got
it's an
made.
offensive line now. He's a terror, dude.
He is an absolute unit, and
He always has been. The problem is, ready? You want to know what the biggest? So outside looking in, obviously I'm a Steelers fan. You want to know what the biggest difference is in his game? So on the Giants, just to get to the line of scrimmage, he had to make two guys miss. With the Eagles, he's now 15 yards downfield before he has to make the first guy miss.
yeah,
Like the offensive line that you guys have, you see how happy he is. There was the behind the scenes thing with him and what's your coach's name? Sirianni.
Yeah.
It was the one game, and they were like, "You're like 10 yards away from like your personal best, and you could break your own personal record." He's like, "No, let the young guys eat. Like I'm good." Like
Oh yeah.
Like he's
And
just an
I
overall
respect him
good
for that.
dude.
Absolutely. And he's one of those solid players that, like, he's going to have the opportunity to break that record again. I mean, Christ almighty, I was blown away by that, like, spin move 180 bunny hop fucking. I felt like I was playing Tony Hawk.
The backwards hurdle.
Dude, I was Jesus Christ. And the fact that it worked, like that he didn't just get his legs swept and like a fucking Tua level concussion was
Dude,
wonderful.
he might like honestly, this could be a year where a position other than the quarterback wins league MVP. Because
Oh yeah.
honestly, here's the thing. So right now, for me, the Chiefs feel a lot like the Steelers a couple years ago. Steelers were like 11-0 at one point, and we got knocked out of like the first round of playoffs. Like we just got smacked, and I think we ended up being like 13-3 or something like that.
Okay.
That's how this Chiefs team feels for me. Like they don't feel as dominantly, like their presence isn't as dominant as a couple like years past. I don't know
Oh,
what
I
like
absolutely agree.
Denver almost beat them last week. Like Cincinnati should have beat them earlier in the season. Baltimore should have beat them earlier in the season. Like,
Dude, Travis Kelce is having a not a great year. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I love Travis Kelce as a player. Patrick Mahomes was like a first round quarterback for, not like first round, but like first draft quarterback for people. He's not doing anything special this year. I just like that whole team, like they've been doing it so well for so long, and like it can only last for so long.
right.
So I feel like we're finally at the end of that era, which I'm happy with. But for the first time ever, in the same sentence, you could say that Mike Tyson's fighting and the Lions are contenders for the Super Bowl. So, there's that. But guys, we wanted to keep this one kind of short. We're going to get into a decently long episode on our next venture. We got some awesome stuff coming up for you guys. We're going to post it all on Instagram and kind of loop you guys in on our whereabouts and what we're going to be doing. We have the Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo coming up in January, so you can check us out there. We are the official sponsor for the cheesesteak dinner, so we're super excited about that. We're going to throw some things up for there, and if you're going to be at the Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo, give us a shout. We'll meet you there. We'll have some awesome stuff for you, and yeah, we'd love to chat with some of our fans. And I guess last but not least, I'm Steve.
And I'm Mark.
And we'll catch you guys next week.